darkness. The townspeople avoided it at all costs, for it was said to be haunted by the shadow people, mysterious entities that thrived in the dark. Jane, a young journalist with a passion for uncovering the truth, had heard the stories and decided to investigate. Jane stood at the entrance of the alleyway, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. She clutched her flashlight tightly, the only source of comfort in the oppressive darkness. As Jane ventured deeper into the alley, the air grew colder. The light from her flashlight seemed to barely penetrate the darkness, and the silence was unsettling. Every sound, from the rustle of leaves to the distant hum of traffic, seemed amplified. Suddenly, Jane noticed something strange. In the window of an abandoned building, she saw a silhouette. It was a dark figure, standing completely still, seemingly watching her. Her curiosity piqued. Jane decided to get a closer look. Jane pushed open the creaky door of the building and stepped inside. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and dust motes floated in the beam of her flashlight. As she walked through the empty rooms, she heard faint whispers that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. In one of the rooms, Jane found an old journal on a dusty table. The cover was worn and tattered, but the pages inside were filled with writing. She began to read, her heart racing as she uncovered the chilling stories of the shadow people. As Jane read the journal, the temperature in the room dropped suddenly. She felt a chill run down her spine and looked up to see the silhouette from the window, now standing in the doorway, its eyes glowing a sinister red. Jane's heart pounded as she realized she was not alone. She had to decide whether to confront the figure or flee. Either way, her journey into the mystery of the shadow people was just beginning. The sinister glow of the figure's eyes bore into her, as if challenging her to step deeper into the darkness. With a deep breath, Jane tightened her grip on the flashlight, her mind racing with questions and fears. This was only the beginning of what would become an unforgettable and terrifying adventure. Summoning her courage, Jane took a cautious step forward. The figure remained motionless, its eyes fixed on her. She felt a strange pull, as if the shadows themselves were urging her to come closer. The whispers grew louder, filling her mind with fragmented words and haunting echoes. As she moved closer, Jane reached out, but her hand grasped only empty air. The room fell silent, the oppressive cold lifting slightly. She glanced down at the journal in her hand, its pages now glowing faintly. It was as if the journal had absorbed some of the energy from the encounter. Determined to uncover the truth, Jane knew she had to keep going. She flipped through the journal, finding more entries about the shadow people, accounts of their appearances, their eerie behaviors, and the fear they instilled in those who encountered them. Each entry seemed to hint at a deeper, more sinister force at work. Jane realized she couldn't face this alone. She needed to find others who had experienced the shadow people, to piece together the clues and uncover the secrets hidden in the darkness. She left the abandoned building, the journal clutched tightly in her hand, and made her way back to the town, determined to continue her investigation. As she walked through the quiet streets, she felt a presence following her. Glancing over her shoulder, she saw fleeting shadows darting just beyond her line of sight. The shadow people were watching her, but she was no longer afraid. She had faced them once and survived. Now she was ready to uncover the truth and put an end to their reign of terror. Back at her apartment, Jane spread out the journal and began to make connections between the entries. Each piece of information brought her closer to understanding the shadow people, But as she worked late into the night, the whispers returned, more insistent and closer than ever. Jane knew she was being drawn into something far darker and more dangerous than she had ever imagined. The shadow people were not just a local legend. They were real, and they were coming for her. Determined to face whatever lay ahead, Jane steeled herself for the battles to come. This was only the beginning of her journey into the unknown, and she would stop at nothing to uncover the truth and protect those she cared about from the encroaching darkness.